Today we're going to talk about protein structure and function. The genetic code is the term we use for the way that the four bases of DNA, A, T, C, and G, are strung together in order for a protein to be coded for. In the genetic code, each 3 nucleotides in a row counts as a triplet and codes for a single amino acid. The sequence of these amino acids is very important. So the DNA sequence determines the amino acid sequence, which determines the structure and function of a polypeptide and therefore also the protein, and that determines the characteristic of the cell due to the type of protein. The type of protein is determined by number 1, the sequence in which the amino acids are attached to each other, number 2, the type of amino acids in the chain, and number 3, the configuration in a 3-dimensional structure of these amino acids. The primary structure refers to the linear sequence of amino acid residues in the polypeptide chain. The type of amino acid determines the secondary and tertiary shape. Nonpolar or hydrophobic amino acids, as the name implies, doesn't like water. Hydrophobic amino acids have little or no polarity in their side chains. The lack of polarity means they have no way to interact with highly polar water molecules, making them fearing water. Polar amino acids are those with side chains that prefer to reside in a watery environment. For this reason, one generally finds these amino acids exposed on the surface of a protein. They are also known as hydrophilic. The alpha helix is a rod-like structure whose inner section is formed by a tightly coiled main chain with its side chains extending outward in a helical array. The alpha helix structure takes advantage of the hydrogen bonds between C double bond O and the NH groups of the main chain. In a beta-pleated sheet, 2 or more segments of a polypeptide chain line up next to each other, forming a sheet-like structure held together by hydrogen bonds. The hydrogen bonds forms once again between the carbonyl and the amino groups of the backbone, and the R groups or side chains extends either above or below the plane of the sheet. The tertiary structure is formed by the folding of the secondary structure sheets or helices into one another. The tertiary structure of the protein is the geometric shape of the protein. It usually has a polypeptide chain as a backbone with 1 or more secondary structures. The tertiary structure is determined by the interactions and bonding of the amino acid side chains in the protein. The quaternary structure results from folded amino acid chains in the tertiary structures interacting further with each other to give rise to a functional protein such as hemoglobin or DNA polymerase. Fibrous proteins are structural proteins that is used where elasticity is needed in the body. It consists of 3 types of amino acids. Structural proteins are the most abundant class of proteins in nature. Collagen is recognized as the most abundant mammalian protein. Others include keratin, elastin, and laminin. Contractile proteins plays a role in locomotion. The contractile proteins are myosin, the principal component of thick myofilaments, and actin, which is the principal component of thin myofilaments. Globular proteins have a 3D molecular structure that has a shape anywhere from a sphere to a cigar. Antibodies are specialized Y-shaped proteins that binds like a lock and key to a body's foreign invaders. Carrier proteins are proteins that's involved in the movement of ions, small molecules or macromolecules such as another protein across a biological membrane. The most common type of globular protein that is capable of binding a small molecule is an enzyme. Enzymes are proteins that act as a biocatalyst by accelerating chemical reactions when they lower the activation energy of the reaction. Peptide hormones include molecules that are short polypeptide chains, such as antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin. Storage proteins serves as biological reserves of metal ions and amino acids used by organisms. They are found in plant seeds, egg whites, and milk. Some of the biological functions of proteins includes, number one, it's a reserve energy source. It supplies energy when amino acids are broken down to form glucose and urea during the deamination process. It is an important component of cells and cell membranes, chromosomes. It is enzymes. It is hormones. It acts as building blocks for your protoplasm of each and every cell. Together with water, it forms the colloidal base of living protoplasm. Mucin are protective proteins in your sinuses. Proteins are also antibodies, which can protect you against alien invaders. In the form of conjugated proteins, it has various functions like hemoglobin that carries oxygen in the body. And, of course, proteins prevents the defect kwashiorkor. The FOSS Education videos aims to make content colorful and clear to understand. The videos are based on the CAPS syllabus in South Africa, with some extensions and expansions to other syllabi around the world. Connect with us at teachersbyteachers.com/store/the FOSS Education. Also visit our Facebook site, join our link at the FOSS Education, and we also have a website that offers programs to run through as a homeschooling syllabus.